Hey guys, another One Take review, and today I want to talk about the new Drug Church album, Hygiene. Hygiene is the fourth and most recent album from the New York post-hardcore band, and even though I have checked out many of their modern post-hardcore peers, like Turnstile over time, I've never given the time of day to Drug Church. I have no real reason why, either. I've just never sat down and listened to one of their albums from front to back, so I just kind of figured that their most recent album would be the perfect opportunity to do exactly that. While this album is undoubtedly post-hardcore by definition, I would probably say there's at least some melodic hardcore kind of mixed into that sound. There are a lot of songs here that are based entirely around melody. I mean, there are even some songs here, like Detective Lieutenant, that aren't even hardcore really. They kind of stray off into a more basic alternative rock kind of setting, which is equally well done as the hardcore work, but nonetheless, my point still stands. There are a lot of melodic moments here that would more suit melodic hardcore than anything else. Those aforementioned more alternative rock songs are, of course, the most melodic on the album, but even the most chaotic and aggressive songs on the record still have a sense of melodicism and song progression about them that really feels like they are more melodic than most of what's coming out of the hardcore scene today, which is saying something because, well, I mean, frankly, a lot of modern hardcore and punk is based around melody. Nonetheless, this sense of melody on the otherwise aggressive sounds of Hygiene ensure that everything and virtually every track is just as clean and well performed and pleasant to listen to as they are instrumentally vicious. That's the beautiful thing about Hygiene as a record, actually, the fact that the band kind of know their limits in terms of aggression and sound. I mean, of course, you have songs that are louder or more in your face than others, but no matter what, whether it's songs like Fun's Over or even the most aggressive tracks on the record, like World Impact, every song sort of has a sense of balance almost, that balance between control and self control of the performers and this sort of lingering mayhem that feels like it's kind of bound to happen but never quite does and is never meant to happen because I feel like the record wouldn't be nowhere near as good as if it did happen. I just really feel like they found the perfect kind of chord here almost, I guess you could say. They really found a good wire to walk in. They walk it perfectly fine. They don't ever end up leaning towards too clean or too messy basically. As far as instrumentals go, Hygiene is pretty strong, if not a touch average. I mean, the guitar riffs and just the overall kind of sound and aesthetic of the record are not too unsimilar from other kind of more classic bands like Fugazi or Husker Du that have kind of done this style a thousand times better decades earlier, but nonetheless, it's still performed well overall, and I do think that drummer Chris Villeneuve really stands out as a particularly fantastic performer. He is sort of a almost controlled madman almost. He has a great sense of self-control, which I mentioned before for the rest of the band, but he especially stands out and as a percussionist never really wanders too far to try and stand out from his bandmates, and because of that he does stand out from his bandmates. He's a fantastic performer that I think may be one of my favorites in the hardcore and general punk scene right now. However, drum work aside, Hygiene is a pretty average performed album. There's nothing super creative going on here. In fact, you could probably call it uncreative, the antithesis of creative almost. There's just nothing really particularly unique about this record, but I would be a complete liar if I said it weren't played expertly. Everything here, every chord, every single note, timing is absolutely perfect. It doesn't feel like a mess of influences that were just tossed together to make an album. This is roughly 30 minutes of just solid performance after solid performance. Even if it's not the most unique thing you've ever heard, there's no denying that Drug Church as a band are very strong instrumentalists. What most interests me about Hygiene as an album, though, is how flawlessly it kind of flows along. And I don't just mean that by saying that the bands sound consistently tight and there isn't a bad track on this record, which there isn't a bad song on this record, but that's not what I'm trying to say. I truly mean that every song on this album fits together and connects together perfectly. This feels like it's meant to be listened to front to back, which is something very rare in not only hardcore albums, but just punk albums in general. Even the closing track, Athlete on Bench, which is a personal highlight on the album for me at least, it's a perfect fit. I mean, sure, it's just as upbeat as the rest of the tracks for the most part, but at the same time, it's just got the sense of finality about it that makes it a perfect closer for, I won't say a epic album or anything like that, of course. I mean, it's way too short to use words like that, but definitely an album that kind of tells a story that doesn't exist almost. With that being said, that makes each song's ability of individuality all the more impressive. I mean, you have songs like Plucked that, like I said, shouldn't really work out of context of the album if the album flows together so well, but they just don't depend on the other songs. They work better with the other songs, don't get me wrong, and I would rather listen to just the album from front to back than a random compilation of a few of the songs, but nonetheless, every song here works perfectly on its own or in the album, and that's a feat that's hard to achieve even by some of the greatest bands of all time. There are just some bands that make albums that songs taken out of context just do not work at all. I mean, a terrible example because they're nothing alike, but if you look at the album We're Only in It for the Money by Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention, it's a perfectly fine album, but you take songs out of context and they don't really work as well as they do in context, and there are just some albums that work much better out of context with, or certain songs, I should say, out of the context of the album. Maybe the rest of the album's bad and one song is absolutely amazing, but this record is consistent and it is pieced together beautifully, frankly. And I think that Drug Church found kind of again found a perfect balance here of between working out of the album and in the album. So overall, Hygiene is an album that I'm really glad that I listened to. I greatly enjoyed it. I'm glad that I finally got around to listening to Drug Church as a band. If anyone enjoys the aforementioned Turnstile or any other similar modern post-hardcore bands that sort of like to, I don't want to say experiment, but just maybe dip their toes in the water of other genres, then I think Drug Church, or at least this record, is the perfect band or album for you. And with that being said, I'm going to have to give this album 4 stars out of 5. It's not the most creative thing you've ever heard. In fact, again, like I said, maybe the antithesis of creative. What's been done on this album has been done 100,000 times before, but at the same time, it's done fantastically and it's performed incredibly well. So, yeah, 4 stars out of 5. And with that being said, that's the end of this review, and I will see you guys in the next one.